So am I audible to you all? There was some noise earlier. I hope it is clear now. Can someone type it in the chat window quickly? So am I audible? Can you hear me? Yes, thank you. Thank you. Right. Okay. So today, in the last session, we discussed about how to create, custom package or the user defined package, and also demonstrated how to create functions. And with the example of computing the gross salary and net salary, for that I use two different functions. Let me share my screen. Okay. Two functions. Those two functions, I made it part of the compsal.py file, and that file served as a package. Right, from compsal, import whatever the functions that you wanted, you can import it. So there are built-in packages available as part of Pandas. Lot of built-in packages are available. We can simply use those packages, and then we can perform, for example, in the case of Numpy, if you want to perform any scientific arithmetic operation, you can use it. Pandas is very much helpful to perform SQL-like operations. If you want to join the data set or if you want to join the data set, or if you want to perform left outer join, right outer join, full outer join, anti-join, everything, you can do it with the help of Pandas. Even for the Pandas package, the basis is Numpy. So initially they created a package called Numpy. Due to some the drawbacks with the Numpy, they developed a package called Pandas. To start with, let us understand what is Numpy package. So how do I import Numpy package? First of all, we will see how we can import a Numpy package, the built-in package. So for example, here, import Numpy. Numpy stands for numerical Python. So if I hit the run button, this package will get imported. Now you are ready to use the functions or the methods that are available as part of your package Numpy. Okay, this package was created by somebody else. We are going to use their package because in this package, a lot of useful built-in functions or the methods that are available. With that method, we can simply perform any scientific operations or scientific arithmetic operations. We can perform it. See, for numerical computing, right? So we mainly work with the vectors and matrices. Okay, so we can manipulate the vectors and matrices in different ways by using a range of the mathematical functions. The numerical Python, the Numpy package, is a perfect fit for these kind of situations. You can use arrays, you can create matrices. It is an open source and zero cost. You don't have to pay any money. It is a simply you can import the package. Somebody developed it. It is a freeware. It is a high-level programming language with user-friendly syntax it has in it. These are the salient features of using Numpy package. Now the question is how Numpy is different from the other data structures we learned, like a list, dictionary, set, and tuple. So Numpy is more efficient than Python list. It is much faster. If you want to perform any advanced arithmetic operation, any complex arithmetic operation, then Numpy, if you use the Numpy package, the performance will be much faster. See, for example, if you want to do 1 plus 2, so you don't have to import Numpy package. Any basic arithmetic operation, you can do it without using Numpy package. But if you use Numpy package, the performance will be much faster. And if you want to perform any complex or any other statistical related thing, right? So in that case, it will be faster. The performance will be faster. There are pre-built-in methods that are available as part of Numpy package. So as I said, right, it has more advanced built-in function. Which one? The Numpy. And it is well integrated with other packages also or other libraries. Like I said, Pandas. It is integrated with Pandas also. It is much faster because they developed this package using high-level programming like C languages, right? So the C or C++ language they used it. They developed this package, hence the performance is much faster. Okay, now the question is how it is different from the list and other things. See, the thing is, for example, I'm going to create a list. L is equal to 2, 4, 5, 6. This is my list, and if I hit my run button, I can see the content of the list. So 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. And now if I wanted to multiply each values in the list, see, this is what is L. L is nothing but my list. And if you want to multiply each and every element with this scalar value. So this here 2 is scalar. What do you mean by scalar? Single value. And if I hit run button, what happens here? Can someone tell me what is happening here? What is happening here? So it is simply duplicating the list, right? So it is, if I use 3, 1 second, let me just, if I, instead of 2, if I specify 3 times, it will display the value. Okay, it will display the value. If it will duplicate the list 3 times. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. Just yeah. So the next one is see, the advantage of Numpy packages, you can multiply each and every element by a scalar function, scalar value, or you can multiply an array with another array. Okay. So in the case of Numpy, we can create arrays. Okay. So what we are going to do with Numpy package? So what we are going to do is we are going to define an array. So I'm going to use this one. So this is just a the markdown thing. I'm going to use array manipulation. Here I'm going to say Numpy arithmetic. So we will take a look at how we can perform arithmetic operations. How we can slice the arrays, slicing arrays, and nested in iterating over arrays. Next, what else we can do? We can, like list, we can do some kind of concatenation. Next one is you can split the, we will take a look at how we can split the arrays, and we will take a look at other useful functions in Numpy. Finally, we will see what is broadcasting. And here, if I hit the run button, it is like the title of this cell. So what subject we are going to take a look at, this kind of a title. And already I have imported the package in Numpy. So I'm going to import it again, and I'm going to give an alias by the name of NP. So what is as? As is a keyword followed by the keyword if I specify the NP. Henceforth, I can use NP instead of NumPy. It is something like even human, we have some alias. At office, they will, your name is different. At home, your name is different, right? So you have some alias. Likewise, here we mentioned alias. Now let us take a look at the version of the NumPy that I'm using it here, np dot. There are simple questions. In interview, they'll ask, these are the simple questions. How will you find out the version of the package NumPy? So this is how you can np dot underscore version underscore. Okay, this gives me the version of the NumPy package. Next, we will take a look at how we can define an array in 1 second. How we can define an array using NumPy package. and complex numbers. We will take a look at the complex numbers as well. And I'm going to set it as markdown. And here I mention it like this way. And next one is, so I'm going to say define an array by the name of a np dot array. Okay, here I'm going to do something like this: 1 comma 2 comma 3. Next one is print a. Let's see how it got created. So this is my simple array. Okay, this is my array by default, because here in this array I've used only the integer value. If I create something like this, for example, if I specify simply 1.2, it is a float value. You just look at this one. I'm going to say A1. Just because I have one float, entire array will become a float type. So 1.2, 2 point is nothing but 2.0, 3.0, 3 point or something like that. Okay. And if I want to specify the data type explicitly, you can specify something like this. D type. You can specify D type is equal to int, something like that. See, now, even though I have the float value here, it got considered as a integer data type. So you can specify the data type explicitly like this. Okay. Or if you want to define this as a float, D type equal to float, you can specify it. So but this is the syntax. Now the question is, first of all, what is an array? Because we don't have any programming background. We are completely new one. So what is an array? Array is something like you store the values in the memory. Okay, in the memory, the values in array will get stored sequentially. Okay, so that if you retrieve any value from an array, the performance will be faster because all the values get stored in the memory sequentially. Okay, something like in your thing, I'll just tell you this. For example, in the case of list, the values will not get stored in the memory sequentially. Let's say you have stored 1, 2, 3, something like that. For example, let me see one. Let's say 1, 2, and 4, 5 somewhere. It will get stored in other location of the memory. This is one place, another place. Whereas in the case of array, the values will get stored continuously. So 1 comma 2 comma 4 comma 5, so that retrieving the value from the array is much faster. You need to remember this. So in the case of list, it will be something like that. Not necessarily the list has to store the values sequentially. Even the case of list, right, it will be storing the values like this, but it will not store continuously like this. In the case of arrays, the values are stored continuously. So now the question is, let me just refresh this. Okay, so before that, so I wanted to see the shape of this one or type of this one. What type function we can use it to find out the data type of a variable. In this case, it is an array. So the A1 is an n-dimensional array. What is ND array? ND stands for n-dimensional. What is n-dimensional? Multi-dimensional array. Okay, n-dimensional array. N-dimensional array. Okay, the ND array stands for n-dimensional array. So on the right side, we have defined the array here. So this is the syntax np.array. Inside the parenthesis, we have used 2 square bracket. Okay. The reason why we have used 2 square bracket is to specify which one is a row and which one is first row and which one is the second row. Okay. For that purpose, we need to specify. See here, basically these two are list. Okay, these two are list. So we have we have used two lists, but those two lists we wrapped with two square brackets. So the first one is considered as a first row, and second one is considered as second row. So the next one is, now we understood type of A1. This is a data type. What is a data structure? Actually, it's an array structure. Okay, next one is A1 dot size. There is something called A1 size. Okay, how many number of elements are there? Okay, it tells me that one. Next one is A1 dot dim. So the dim tells me okay, not dim of E. So not okay. So here, to find out the dimension, we have some other command. I don't remember it on top of my head. Yes, a size and 1 second. Yeah, let me just ndim. So we are saying ndim, not dim, ndim. So it's a two-dimensional array. Two dimensions are there, right? So we have two rows, right? So two-dimensional array. So two-dimensional array with 6 elements are there in this array. And what is the data type of this array? We can see that. And we can explicitly define the data type for your entire array like this, okay? And apart from this, is there any other way I can define an array? Yes, we have something called arrange function, arrange function. So Numpy arithmetic. So what I do is A is equal to, I'm going to use a small a, NP. NP stands for Numpy. So look here, the syntax is NP dot array. If you want to define an array, you need to prefix the array function or method by NP. What is NP? NP is nothing but Numpy package, the package name. This is a package. Instead of typing Numpy, I'm going to use the NP so that I don't have to type too much. Okay, so in this case, the Numpy, this word itself having only 5 letters. But why to type 5 letters? Instead, I want to type only the shortcut, the alias name, np.array. This is syntax. Okay, here what I'm going to do is here, I'm going to use a function called arange. How many of you remember range function? Range will generate the range of values. And I'm going to say reshape of, so since 3, I'll explain it, don't worry. Okay, what this one is? A is 3, 3. So we have 9 values. So here I defined 9 values. So the range, see, a range is also similar to your range function. So here, if you see here, when I use a range of 9, the value starts from 0, end with 9 minus 1, 8. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Got it? So here I used, followed by this, I used the dot notation. Followed by this, I mentioned reshape 3, 3. So with this, I mentioned create an array with 3 rows and 3 columns. Okay. So here I mentioned that way. So next, if I want to create a one-dimensional array, B is equivalent to np dot array 10, 12, 14 B. If I specify like this, yeah, this is kind of it's a one-dimensional array. Okay, it's a one-dimensional array. And now the situation is, can I add these two array values? Before we dive in there, adding these two things, for example, what is there in my array A? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Either you can define an array this way, or you can define an array this way. The A range is an alternative, but here in this case, range of values will get generated 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, but in real-time scenario, we don't need the range of values. We want to specify the values as it is. For example, you have the price for different products. Right? So the price will not be same for, or it will not is a sequential value, right? So 1, 2, 3. It is not 1, 2, 3. Sometimes some product you will have 1 rupee. Some product you will have again 1 rupee. Some product you will have 2 rupees, something like that. So in that case, you can use an np.array. Okay, if the values are varying it, so then you can use np.array. But there are situations we want to generate the arrays with sequence of values like this. So we have something called linear regression. When I cover linear regression, how to fit a model or how to create a linear regression model using the matrix, right? I will explain to that time you will be able to understand why we need to, what scenario we need to generate the sequence of values. Okay, at this moment you ignore it, you just think how to create an array in different ways. Okay, using arrange we can create an array, and reshape tells me you want to have 3 cross 3 or 2 cross 2, something like that. For example, I'm going to create another array. So here I'm going to specify 12. So if I say 3 cross 4, 3 fours are how much? 12. Okay. So in this case, the first one tells us the rows, 3 rows and 4 columns. And I can change the shape also. Instead, what I do is 2 cross 6. 2 6 are 12. Because we have 12 elements, 2 rows, 6 columns you create. Instead of doing this way, create it with this dimension, create it in this specific dimension, 2 cross 6. Okay, and what are the other options we have? 2 3 comma 4 12, 3 fours are 12, 2 6 are 12, or 6 twos, or if you want to have 6 rows and each row you want to have only 2 columns, that is also possible with reshape. Okay, now the question is, okay, here let's take this example. In this case, we have 6 rows and 2 columns are there. If I wanted to multiply each and every element by 2, is it possible? Let us see. If I say a into 2, so 2 into 0 is 2, and 2 into 1 is 2, and 2 into 2 is 4, and 2 into 3 is 6. Yes, it is possible. Now I am able to multiply a scalar value, a single value, with my array. If you want to multiply each and every element in an array by a scalar value, it is possible. So now already we define another array called this one, and let me do one thing. So here np.array. So here I say let's 12 comma 5. So this is my array. So now if you want, you can use this is multiplication. Star tells us multiply, right? It's multiplication. So multiply each and every element of my array by 2. Yes, 0 into 2 is 0, 0, 2 into 1 is 2. It is doing perfect job. Or if you want to add the values, 2 plus 0 is 2. Yes. So you can perform any arithmetic operation or writes any arithmetic operation with array. But whereas in the case of list, look here, in the case of list, it is not doing it. If I use L in L star 2, it is duplicating this value. If I say 3 or 30 times, right? 30 times it will get to same value will get duplicated 30 times. Or say why 30, we will take 3. The same 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. But I don't need something like this. Instead, the 3 has to be multiplied with each and every element in this list. Okay, so for that we have, we can use for loop to multiply each of. In that case, right, we have to use for loop in order to multiply each and every element in a list. But here you don't have to use any for loop on top. Simply a plus 2, a plus 3, or a plus 12, you can do it. Whatever arithmetic operation, you can do it with an array. You can directly do it. That is the difference between another advantage of using an array. See, the one advantage of using array is much faster because the values are stored continuously in the array, or sequentially the values get stored in the memory. Whereas in the case of list, it is not like that. Okay. And other thing is, you cannot perform the arithmetic operation directly with the list. Whereas in the case of array, you can perform the arithmetic operation directly. And other thing is, like, for example, I have defined another array called B. B has 12 comma 5. Can I to a plus b. Is it possible? On one array to another array, can I add the value? Yes, that is also possible. So what is the array A? Array as 0. You need to look at this one. So I just type it here so that you will not get confused. See here in array A, I have 0. In the array B, I have 12, 5. The 12 gets 0 plus 12. Or else I will just type B here. So 0 plus 12 is 12 and 1 plus 5 is 6 and here 14, right? So here what happens? The second element is 2. 2 plus 12 is 14 and 3 plus 8 is, here, wait. A plus B, 12, 5, right? So yeah, so 12, 5. 12 plus 2 is 14 and 5, 3 is 8. 5 plus 3 is 8, second element. Similarly, 12 plus 4 is 16. 5 plus 5 is 10. So here, though I have one-dimensional array here, array to array I can add it. Okay, array to array I can add it. And array to array you can add it. And you can use any scalar value. Scalar value is individual value. Okay, so a plus each and every element, if you want to add it by 12, that is also possible. But in the case of list, it is not possible. Even in the case of tuple, it is not possible. So our dictionary is something like it's another data. It's a key value pair. You can do it this way, and a plus b you can do it. One second, let me do one thing. Instead of that, I have a function called the Numpy package. There is a package called add. Okay, a comma b also you can give it. Even this is also possible. You can add it this way also. Okay. And the next question is it possible for me to iterate over an array? Can I use for loop? Yes, that is also possible. For example, for I in A and print A plus, I plus 10. Okay, I plus 10. I want to take each and every value from the array A. While fetching it, you add each and every element by 10. So, okay, here I should have mentioned colon, because for this one, I need to tell Python where the block starts, right? This is where the for loop block starts. For I in A, so 0 plus 10 is, so I is 0, right? First element 0, 0 plus 10 is 0. Sorry, 0 plus 10 is 10 and 1 plus 10 is 11. It is, you can iterate over an array also. That is also possible. You can use the array. And is there any way if I can split an array? Is it possible to split an array? So we have something called np.split. So when it comes to Python, they can ask you questions like this. How do I split an array? Okay. Here I have an array. My array is 6 cross 2. 6 rows, 2 columns are there. And is it possible for me to split like something like np.split? What is this? My array name is. First argument is your array. And here I'm going to say 3. 3 different arrays. Can I split it into 3 different arrays? Yeah, 0, 1, 2, 3 is one array. This one is 2 array, one array. This is second array and third array. You can split an array like this also. And where are the other useful functions? We have something called Linspace. Okay, we have something called Linspace function. For example, I'm going to use the same name. So np.linspace. So 1, 3, 5. And A. Let's see what happens. So here, so 1.1.5, 2.2. What is this? It tells us So it generated 5 values. It generated 5 values between 1 to 3. Okay, I just put the comment here and I will share this script also. Generates 5 values from 1 to 3 evenly. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if you see, all the values are bounded between 1 to 3. Nothing is greater than 3. Nothing is less than 1. Right? So between 1 to 3, generate 5 values. You can specify whatever the number of values you can specify it here. It is up to you. And the next one is we have some other function. Yeah, shape function we have seen. Okay, is there any way I can flatten an array? Look here. I just go ahead and use the same thing, 2 cross 6. So now my previous array, if I click on this, yeah. Okay, for the purpose of clarity, I just copy and put it here, because when you practice, you should not get confused with my notebook. Since I'm going to put it like this. np.arange12 reshape 2 comma 6, sorry, 6 comma 2. Here I need 6 comma 2, so that it'll look a little bit bigger. So I'm going to use a function called flatten. A dot flatten. So what happened? How do I convert an array into list, something like that? Okay, so not list. How do I flatten the values instead of, for example, here now a dot size or shape 6 comma 2, 6 rows. But if I say, if I assign it to another variable, a dot flatten, and if I say a dot shape 12, if I give 12 values are there, it gives me 12, right? So 12, 12, it shows only 12. But in this case, I just execute this one. Ideally, I should have done it like this. And currently, this is the one we have it. And a dot shape. If I give like this, it gives me 6 comma 2, right? But flatten, after I do the flatten, and if I use the shape, it shows only the 12 elements, something like 12 elements are there. Okay, and is there any way if I can specify something like order? Okay, so here we have something else called order is also available, flatten. Okay, that I will tell you later. Order, we have something called order function that I will say, okay, here I'm going to say a dot dim, end. And a dot size. So size gives me number of elements in an array. N dimension tells us whether the 2-dimensional or what type of dimension. And ideally, I should have used it here also. And a dot shape is comma 2. And I'm going to create another cell. If you want to create another cell, in between these two, select this one and click on plus sign. A dot ndim 2-dimension. It's a 2-dimension because we have 2 rows and 2 columns. But whereas here it shows 1 dimension. It's a 1-dimensional array because we have used a function called flatten. Flatten function helps us to convert your array into single dimension. Flatten function. Next, there is a concept called broadcasting. Okay, so we have something called broadcasting. So broadcasting is a very simple one, but the broadcasting is done behind the scene. Okay. So we have something called broadcasting. I'll explain you what is broadcasting. See, broadcasting is done behind the scene. We don't have to do explicitly. But what is the idea of broadcasting? Okay, this term broadcasting, it refers to the ability of the numerical Python NumPy to treat arrays of different shapes during arithmetic operations. Okay, for example, if two arrays are having the same shape, then these operations are done smoothly. For example, I'm going to create another array or np.array, or let me use the range function. That is pretty simple to create. A range here, I just specify 4. For simplicity's sake, I'm going to use 4 and 2, 2. So 2 rows and 2 columns. So I'm going to create another array by the name of B. Here also I'm going to use 4, A range 4. Both of them are 2 cross 2. If I add the two arrays A plus B, it is pretty simple. So here both the arrays of exactly the same shape. Here 2 rows, 2 columns, say 2 columns and 2 rows. And even in the case of B, we have 2 rows and 2 columns. The value is also similar. Forget about the values. You just think about the size here. Okay, the dimension 2 cross 2. Here also 2 cross 2. Okay, since these two arrays A and B's shape are same, so adding the values or performing the operations are pretty smooth. There are scenarios, something like we have something like let me do one thing. I have something like 2 here. So here I just say 2 here, and here I have one row, 2 columns, something like that. So I say B1 and I say B1 0, 1. So B1 has 0, 1. This is what kind of dimension is B1 dot ndim. It tells me it's okay. B1 is also n dimensional, right? So this is a 2 dimensional, it says, but ideally this is a 1 dimension, right? We have 1 row, 2 column, 1 cross 2. We have something called shape, size, and we have size. B1 dot size. Let me use B1 dot size. This gives me the correct thing. Or shape, 1 cross 2. So actually the shape function gives you the dimension. So 1 cross 2, 1 row, 2 columns are there. Obviously here we have 2 columns but only 1 row, right? So that is what it says. B1 dot shape function is very much helpful. But whereas here, if you see here, let me do one thing here. The A dot shape, if I give, it gives me 2 cross 2. So dimension is 2 rows and 2 columns. Here 1 row, 2 columns. Got it? So now I'm going to add A plus B1. So can you all type it in the chat window to confirm that? Or what is your point of view? If I add both the array A and B, B1, will it get added or not? So what is your thought process here? Or what is your perspective? See, the array A shape is 2 cross 2. The B1 array shape is 1 cross 2, 1 row, 2 column. So is it will it work? I'm going to click on run. Yes, it is working fine. Okay, it is working fine. So how it is possible? How it is possible? This is called broadcasting. Aruna says it is, I think, yes, you are correct, Aruna, right? So what is happening is this is where the broadcasting coming into picture. I'll just show you what is broadcasting. With an image, if I show you, you should be able to understand. What is this here? It is not showing anything here. The images are not coming here. Where is the broadcasting? Picture cannot be displayed. Okay. See, it is something like this. I will draw the picture, don't worry. Here, Let me just. So in array, I have something like this, right? So you see, this is my thing, right? So what is my A? A is, I need to move a little upward. Here I mentioned 2A. So 0, 1. Okay, and here, in this case, it is so here 0 is there, and 1 is there, 2 is there, and 3 is there. This is my array A, right? So I'm talking about this one. So 0, 1, 2, 3. And in B, what is there? If I scroll down, in B, we have 0, 1 only. So we have another array. In that array, we have only one thing here like this. Okay, we have something like in this B1, right? This is my B1 array. This is my array A. And the B1 array, I have 0, 1. Only 0, 1 is there. When you add this A plus B1, behind the scene, what it does is the Numpy package. It does the broadcasting. So in this case, what happens? You have two. What is the shape of this one? 2 cross 2. 2 rows, 2 columns are there. Here you have 1 row and 2 columns are there. So in this case, what happens? The number of rows in the first array is same as the number of columns in the second array. So hence what it does is, it simply replicate, copy paste this one here, 0, 1. When you do A plus B1, so this is called broadcasting. This is called broadcasting. It broadcasts the same value here. So here 0 plus 0 is 0. Look here. And 1 plus 1 is 2. So here these two values got added, and 1 is 1 and 1 got added, and 2 plus 0 is 2 only here, and 3 plus 1 is 4. So this is how it is doing the arithmetic operation. Though the shapes are not same, it still does the arithmetic operation by doing broadcasting. Because the second array, number of columns are 2, but here the first array, the number of rows are 2 and number of columns are 2. The rule is, in the first array, if the number of rows are 2, or what are the number of rows in the first array, if the same number of columns are available in a second array, you can do the broadcasting. Okay, you can do the broadcasting. Right, so this is called broadcasting. We don't have to do it explicitly. It is done automatically by Numpy. But you hope you understood what is broadcasting now. Right, so the two arrays not necessarily are of the exactly same shape. The shape can be different, even though the shape is different. So here 2 cross 2, here 1 cross 2, even though the shape is not same, still the Numpy package can perform the arithmetic operation just by doing the broadcasting. Simply it replicated these two values here in order to match with this shape. So now we have 2 cross 2, right? So simply copy paste this one here. This is called replication or broadcasting. Simply it is broadcasting this value to in line with or to match with the first array's values, right? It is doing this one. Supposing I have 2 cross 2 here, and I have 0 cross 3. Will it work? Will it work? So now we will check. See here, number of rows are 2, number of columns are 2, but whereas here the number of rows are 1 here. Sorry, here 1. Number of rows are 1, but number of columns are 3. Will it work? That is what we are going to test it now. So what I am going to do is, okay, so this one I'm going to create the another one, B1, instead of using different thing. So here I'm going to say so one row, 3 columns. Okay. Here it is 2 cross 2 as usual. Here we will see what is there. Yeah. So here B dot shape. Here B1 dot shape. So 1 comma 3. And if I do A plus B1, it is not working, right? So what is the rule? The number of rows in the first array should be same as the number of columns in the second array. Only then the broadcast will work. So in this case, what happened? The array A has the shape. 1 second. The array has, okay, A plus B1. Okay, I'll just, for your sake, I'll just put it one more time here. Because if I give this script to you, you should not get confused. Sorry, where is that? 2 comma 2. Okay, I'll just, same thing, right? I move this up. I say A here. What is A dot shape? A dot shape is 2 cross 2. 2 cross 2. We are not using B here. So I need to move this cell down, just above B1, so that when you practice it, you will not get confused. Okay. So we are going to focus only in this area. So here 2 cross 2, but whereas here B1 dot shape, let me do one thing. Here 1 cross 3, 2 cross 2, 1 cross 3. The number of rows in the first array is not same as the number of columns in this second one. See, the rule of thumb is number of rows in your first array should match with the number of columns in your second array. So in that case, what we see here, you have number of rows 2, right? Ideally, 2 rows, 2 columns should be there. Only then the broadcasting is possible. Since the shape is completely different, it is not, look here, B1 dot shape is 1 comma 3. I'm going to remove this one also. A plus B1 operands could not broadcast together with shapes 2 comma 2 and 1 comma 3. Okay, so if the shapes are same for the arrays A and B, then it is pretty smooth. Okay, so it does the, see here also 2 comma 2, here also 2 comma 2. Let me do one thing here. So I'll just systematically I'll put it so that you will not get confused. Here this is A and this is A. Yeah, so A dot shape. Both of them are 2 cross 2. The shape, since A is 2 cross 2 and B is also 2 cross 2. B dot shape, I'll put it here. So both of them, A and B, both are 2 cross 2. Then doing the arithmetic operation for these two arrays, right? It is pretty simple. And not necessarily in real time. Both the arrays should be in the same shape. Still, you can do the arithmetic operation, but there is a rule here. The first arrays, here, this is the example. Here 1 cross 2 and here A is 2 cross 2, right? So I just copy this one more time so that you will not get confused, so that there will be a sequence. See B1 dot shape, and I will just put this right above this A dot shape. Here are these two arrays having the same shape? No, the A is 2 cross 2, 2 rows 2 columns, whereas B1 has 1 row 2 column. But when I do a plus b1, though the shapes are not same, I just execute this one. And this is the one, right? Yeah. So it is working fine. Why it is working fine here, though the shapes are not same? Because the number of rows in the first array should match with the number of columns in the second array. This is the rule, remember it. Only then the broadcasting is possible. Whereas in this case, what happens, the number of rows in the first array is 2, whereas the number of columns in the second array is not 2, it is 3. Hence, it is not doing the broadcasting. Okay, got it? So logically, it is not correct, right? See, it is something like this. I just put it like this. If you are still not clear, I will explain it with this example. So for example, so in A you have what value? You have 1 second. In A you have 0, 1, right? So A you have 0, 1. 0, 1, 2, 3. Whereas in B1, you have something like this. Simply I'll put something like this. Okay, here you have something called 0, 1, 2. What will happen is here you have 2 cross 2, here 1 cross 3. Okay, 1 cross 3. Right, so this one, these two should match. It is not matching. So, right, so in that case, what will happen is even if it does the broadcasting, right, it will get confused. So 0 plus 0 and 1 plus 1. So what is this 2? So where this 2 should get added? It is not possible. It is not possible. Okay, it is not possible. In that case, what will happen is there is no other element available here to add this column here, right? Hence, it is throwing an error. So it is not possible. Got it? Or we will try another scenario. Let's say, we have something like 0. Let's say I have 0, 1, 2. Now you tell me, is it possible to add these two things, 0, 1, 2? So these two are two different arrays. Can I do, let's say, this is A, this is array B. If I add these two, will it work? Number of rows are 3, right? 3 cross 1. And here 1 cross 3. Right? Is it possible to add these two one? Jivanandam says very good, right? Yes, Jivanandam, you are very good, right? So that's correct. So I'm going to create another array. Let's A dot A is equivalent to np dot a range of 3 dot reshape 3 comma 1 and b is equivalent to np dot a range of 3. So if I do a plus b, will it work? Yes, it is working fine. The reason is parent a dot shape comma b dot shape. A is 3 comma 1. See here 3 comma 1 and b is 3. So in this case, number of rows are 1 and number of columns are 3. So n cross p, we call this a n cross p. So this is my n cross m or something like that. Or let's say m cross n and m, so yeah, the m cross p something like that. Okay, m cross p something like that. So in this case, these two are same. Number of rows in this matrix or array and number of columns, both of them say. So m cross p, right? So it is possible to do this one. Okay. Okay, the next one is, hope you understood what is broadcasting. Okay, so broadcasting is very much helpful, even though the array shapes are not same. We can still do the arithmetic operation, but there is a rule here. So some cases the broadcasting is not going to work. When? So if the number of rows in the first array is not matching with the number of columns in the second array, then it is going to throw an error. Then in that scenario, broadcasting is not possible. Okay, next one is there any way I can create an array with all the values 1, 3, 3? I want to create a 3, 3. Okay, and let's say I'm going to call it a A1. That is possible with np.ones. Cannot interpret 3 as a data type. Sorry, np dot, sorry, here. I'll have to use one more parenthesis here, it seems. Yes. So np dot ones is a function. Inside the function, I specified 3, 3. So can I create an array with array filled with ones? I want to fill the entire array with ones. Is it possible to do that? Yes, it is possible. So here, 3 rows, 3 columns, you fill with ones, or if you want something like 2, 2, right? So now the question is, sir, when can I use this one? So this one, again, when I explain about the linear regression, you'll be able to understand that kind of situation. This is very much helpful by generating this kind of, and also we have something like np dot zeros. Can I create an array with 0 values? That is also possible. np dot 0. I don't remember it on np dot zeros. np dot zeros. You can create an array filled with only 0 values. You can create an array only with ones, okay, like this, np dot ones. So np dot ones, np dot zeros are very much helpful in terms of filling the array with either ones or zeros. Okay, with these functions, you can do it in a simple thing. And also, is there any way I can, apart from zeros and ones, is there any way I can create an array with my own values? That is where np dot full function is coming into picture. Is very much helpful. For example, I want to have 4 cross 4 array, and my entire array should get filled with 99. So np dot full, np dot zeros, np dot ones. You understood the rule for the broadcasting. Okay, so now you understood. Next one is we will see how we can perform multiplication with arrays or matrices. So how many of you are aware of or remember the matrix multiplication? How many of you remember the matrix? School time we studied. Matrices. So the same thing, where is the A, array? Okay, I'm going to say A is equivalent to np dot A range of 2, 2. Sorry, A range of 4 dot reshape of 2, 2. Okay, very good. Aruna knows the matrices. She remember the matrices. And I'm going to say B is equal to np dot, the same thing. Okay, so instead of wasting time, I'm going to use the copy paste thing here. So I just call as a B, and I say B here, and same thing. A cross B. What will happen? This is called your scalar multiplication, right? So what happens is 0 in 0, 0, and 1 into 1 is 1, 2 into 2, 4. Element to element multiplication is happening here. Here, what is happening? Element to element. Element to element multiplication is happening, right? So, okay, Jivananda, we knows So here, what I do is instead of using that, a dot, there is a function called dot, and if I give b, so it gives me different result. This is different. This is called your matrix multiplication. So these two are different. Please remember this. And also, if I do something like b star a, is it same? In this case, it is same. But if I do b dot a, are these two are same? Yes, b dot a, right? So you can do that. So matrix, this is called matrix element to element. Element to element is pretty straightforward. So in my array or matrix A, I have 0, 1, 2, 3. 0 and 0 gets multiplied, 1 and 1, element to element. But whereas it is not happening that way. So this is where the school time matrix multiplication, right? Whatever we did it, I know if you remember it, you should be able to understand this one. So in this case, what happened? You have, I just draw something like this. Here I have 0 and 1. Here I have 2 and 3. Here also we have 0, 1, 2, and 3. How did we get this value? How did we get this value? Right. So in this case, what happens? This entire row will get multiplied with this one, right? This one will get multiplied with this one. So in this case, what happens? 0 into 0 is 0 plus 1 into 2 is 2, right? 0 into 0. So this one 0 into 0, 1 into 2. School time is studied. This is how the matrix multiplication is done, right? So 1 into, so 0 into 0 is 0 and 1 into 0 is 0. So plus what will happen is, 0 into 0, sorry. Okay, 0 into 0 is 0. 1 into 2 is 2 here, right? So 2 here, you forget about this one. So 0 plus 2 is 2. That is how these two got computed. How did we get 3 here? Why don't you type it in the chat room? Let me see how many of you can type it correctly here. How did we get 3 here? So so here, how we got 3 here? Can someone tell me? So Jivanandam, you said, right? So why don't you type it in the chat room? So how did we get 3 here? How did we get 6 and 11 here? 2 into 0 is, the second, right? 2 into 0 is 0 plus 3 into 6, 6. Okay, 2 into 1 is 2 and 3 into 3 is 6. Is this correct? 2 into 1, 3. So which 2 into 1 is 3? No. What do you mean by 2 into 1? 2 into 1, you see, how do you say 2 into 1 is 3? Yeah? 2 into 1 is 2, right? 2 into 1 is 3, right? How did you say this? So see here we have 0, right? So here what happens is 2, right? So 2 into 0 is 2 and 3, this one. So if you do this one, okay, second one is 2 into 2 is 2, 3 into 3 is 6, 8. No. So what happens here? 1 into 1 is 1 and this one into this one and this value we got it, and this one into this one we got this value, right? So 2 into 0 is 0 and 3 into 2 is 6. So 0 into 1 here, 0 into 1 is 0 and 1 into 3, right? So this is how it is happening. I just say this is how, right? The first row and the first column, and then to get this value, okay, and then the first row and second one you get this value. 0 into 1 is 0, 1 into 3 is 3, and so 2 comma 3. So 2 into 0 is 2, 3 into 2 is 6, and again, so the second row with the second column. So 2 into 1 is 2, 3 into 3 is 9. So 9 plus 2 is 11. So this is what matrix multiplication. Here, the element to element multiplication is not happening. Okay. Got it. So the difference between the dot. So in order to perform matrix multiplication, we need to use dot function. So this is called dot, dot product. So they call it dot product. Matrix multiplication is called dot product. And apart from this NP dot array, we have something else called NP dot matrix. Okay, so array is a multi-dimensional thing, right? So multi-dimensional. We can store the data in multi-dimensional. And what is matrix? What is the difference between arrays and matrix? We have something else called matrix, because here we discussed about matrix multiplication. So what is the difference between arrays and matrix? Can someone tell me? School time we studied. First of all, how do we define a multi-dimensional array? So these are all two-dimensional, 2 cross 3, 3 cross 2. What do you mean by multi-dimensional array? So for example, ME stands for multi-dimensional array. So NP dot array of, I'm going to use 2 square bracket, only 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 1, 3, 4. And comma in the square bracket, I'm going to say some value 4, 1, 2, 1. I'm going to say, I'm going to put one more square bracket to match with that one. Okay, it's already matching. See, now I'm going to the reshape function. I mentioned 3, 2, 2. If I specify this one, invalid syntax, sorry, here 4, 6, 8. Sorry, here 6. Mention 2, here. So here we have more than one dimension. So dimension 1, dimension 2, dimension 3, right? So we have n-dimensional array. So multi-dimensional, you can create multiple dimension with an array. In the case of matrix, it is a two-dimensional. Matrix two-dimensional, whereas array is multi-dimensional. Arrays are multi-dimensional. In Java, those of you know Java, you should be knowing. So matrices are two-dimensional. How do you define a multi-dimensional? Like this: reshape 3, 2 cross 2 arrays you can create it. So 3, 2 cross 2. So 3 into 2, 6. 6 into 2, how much? 12. So overall, we have 12 values are there, right? So we can do it. This is called your multi-dimensional array. So I told you array is a multi-dimensional array. For that, I demonstrated with this example. Okay, array is a multi-dimensional thing. Okay, so next one is the matrix. So matrix is a 2 cross 2, and there is a function called mat function is available in Python, np.mat function, using which also you can create matrices. For example, I'm going to create matrices now. So using np.array itself, we can create the matrices. And apart from that, there is another method or function called mat that is available. In, for example, M stands for matrices. NP dot. What is NP? It's a shortcut or short name or alias for your NumPy. NumPy short for NP dot mat, because the mat function is available in your NP package. So NP followed by dot followed by mat is a function or method. So inside the mat, I'm going to create my thing here. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, here I'm going to say 4, 6, 8. Here I'm going to say 1, 4, 1. M dot shape 3 cross 3. Okay, 3 cross 3. Here we can do one more thing. So here what I am going to do is I'm going to create another matrix called N. So here can I do a matrix multiplication here? These two are matrix, right? So can I multiply these two things? So we have a dot function is available even for this. M dot dot. Even in the case of matrix multiplication, the same rule is applicable. The first matrix number of rows should match with the second matrix number of columns. So here number of rows are 3 in M and number of columns in N is 3. So 3 cross 3 it matches. If I do this one, it should work. Okay, so 3 cross 3, 2 cross 3 is not aligned. M dot N, right? In shape. One second, let me just. Here M is 1, 2, 3. Okay, okay. So what I do is M dot N. Will it work? N dot M? Yes. So in the case of matrix multiplication, so let's N cross N star M is not equivalent to M cross N. This is the example. Okay. I was about to tell this one. So here this one in this matrix, the number of rows, in this case, the number of rows are 2, right? On the N. And the M, I have number of rows are 3. One second. Here there is some confusion here. 1, 4, 1. So even I forgot the rule here. Okay, now I will leave it to you all. Okay. So what is the difference between these two? Why it is not doing this? Here we have 3 columns, right? Number of columns in this matrix is same as number of rows in this one, right? Number of columns in your first matrix should be same as number of rows in the second column. So here we have 3 columns, but whereas here we have 3 rows and 3 columns. So hence it is matching it. But if you do M dot N, what will happen is it is not same, right? So hence it is causing problem. Now I understood, right? Number of columns in your first matrix should match with number of rows in your second matrix. Only then you can do matrix multiplication. You cannot do that. Okay, you can try the opposite. The opposite already we tried, it was throwing an error. Okay, and next, okay, we are done enough with this one, the matrices and arrays with Numpy. If you know this much at this moment, it is more than sufficient. Next, what we will do is we'll jump into pandas. We have something called pandas. We'll start the pandas topic now. So pandas was created by Wed McKinney by 2008. So he was posing a lot of challenges while performing time series related analysis. In one of his projects in the past, he was completely relying on the Numpy package. With Numpy package, he found a lot of challenges. For example, to perform left outer join, right outer join, and SQL-like operations he had to perform in order to do the data analytics. So in that case, using arrays and matrices, found a lot of challenges. He found a lot of drawbacks with that, and he had to end up writing so many lines of code. So what he did to simplify that process, for example, to perform something similar to SQL-like operations like a joins, group by, aggregations, if you want to perform based on group by column, right? So whatever the value based on a specific column, you want to group by it, and if you want to perform some aggregation, joining, merging, you want to do it, but with the NumPy you cannot do it. You can do it, but it requires so many lines of code. You need to put so many lines of code. Instead, what he did, he created a Pandas package. You can store the data in rows and columns, like how we store the data in Excel and the RDBMS table. You can store it that way using Pandas. And also you can do SQL-like operation. You can join the data set, you can append the data set, everything can do it with a simple commands. Okay, how can I install Pandas? There are some packages like Conda utility, okay, Conda and pip, using which you can install it. Like I said, the Pandas and NumPy, these are the two packages. When you install Python, by default, these two packages get installed automatically. You don't have to install the package Pandas explicitly, but it is always advisable before you import Pandas package, import NumPy, because Pandas is an extension of NumPy package. So here I'm going to specify the alias name as NP. Now you might be asking that why the alias name is NP, can't I give something? This is the popular naming convention. The alias name is used. PD. PD stands for Pandas. Okay. NP stands for NumPy package, and PD stands for Pandas package. Okay. So what we will do is we will explore how we can use Pandas in the real-time scenario. Okay. So now we have imported the NumPy package as well as the Pandas. And as I said, Pandas is very much helpful to perform SQL-like operations. And what I am going to do is I'm going to import another package called OS. OS stands for operating system. Okay, if you want to access the file from operating, you can do it, but I'm not going to use this now. So in the Pandas, there are two different data structures are available within this Pandas. I think you are too late, Gilbert. See, arrays, I told you, right? Arrays is pretty faster compared to list and other thing. See, Gilbert has a question, how arrays are used in real-time scenario? Real-time scenario, yes, if you do any operation with arrays, it is pretty faster. Did you watch my earlier discussion? If you want to perform any arithmetic operation with array, it is pretty faster. So obviously, in real-time scenario, if you use arrays, it will be faster, okay? So, okay, in the case of Pandas, there are two data structures. One is series, another one is data frame. Series is a one-dimensional array-like object, okay? It contains an array of data. But only thing is, when you define a series, the index value also get stored automatically. So behind the scene, without index value, you cannot access the values either in array or matrix. Even to access the values in array, for example, yeah, that part I did not explain it. For example, in this case, my array is A here. And if I want to access the first element, A of 0, right? So you can do it this way. So A of 0 gives me the first row. Or if I want to see A of 0, this is how you can take this subset of the values from an array. So A of 0 gives me the first row values in an array, 0, 1. and a of 0, and followed by that, if I put this one, the first row, in the first row, first element, if I want to fetch it, how do I do this? You can do it this way. A of 0 of 1. So it will give me the second value in the first row. Okay, so that is what we can see it here. All right, so this is how we can slice the values in an array. Now the question is, in pandas, we have some series. Okay, we have something called series. Let me just show you here. Okay, from pandas import series, I need to put something from pandas import series plus pg dot series. Let me do one thing. I'll just series. We have different syntax. See, series is something like one-dimensional array, but the advantage of series is it will display the index value along with it. So pandas series to data frame. Okay. With column names. So we have pandas.pydata.org. If you go here, this is the manual. You can find the syntax for defining pd dot series capital S. Because here, see here, I imported with capital S, and due to negligence, see, the case matters a lot. Okay, look here. So what is 2, 3, 4? These are the values 2, 3, 4. Along with that, displays the index values. Right? That is the difference between array and series. In the case of it's a one-dimensional array. See, even in the case of one-dimensional array, behind the scene, it maintain it. It uses the index value to access the elements of your array. In the case of series, once you define a series, it is also like your the one-dimensional array, but it displays the index value along with this one. So that is the difference. If you want to explore more, for example, you want to give some column name to the values, you can give it like this. Okay, odd numbers, even numbers. So 1, 1, 3, 5s or odd numbers, even numbers. You can explore series. The next data structure in pandas is data frame. This is the one widely used. The data frame is the widely used and the most popular data structure. But data frame is a combination of your collection of your data frame, data series. Okay, series. It is a collection of your series. So series is a one-dimensional array. So in the data frame, since the data frame is a collection of series, which means multi-dimensional array. Okay, you can create multiple columns in a data frame. Okay, series is like a single column, but whereas in the case of pandas, multiple columns, you are going to use it here. And I will just use some data here, the real-time data, so that you'll be able to understand the application of pandas, how the pandas is helpful in terms of performing the analytics. So in the case of data visualization tools like ClickView or this one, Microsoft Power BI, right? So we do drag and drop, matrix, everything. We do it, but with pandas, right? So you can do the data analytics. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to import a data set. So I'm going to define a data frame name as df. On the right side of the equal sign, I'm going to use pd dot, what is pd? The alias for your pandas, pd dot read underscore csv. Here I'm going to see in my laptop, I have a folder called dat1 and 04.csv is there. And it is a this is my file name. So I need to tell my file name with the proper folder name. See, if I give you my laptop and I ask you to open a file by the name of sales underscore w04.csv, what question you will ask? Can you tell me the folder name? Right? So similarly, you need to tell the file name with the folder name so that pandas can go and read this file from this folder. The next one is, what type of file is this? Sorry, is this file, what is the delimiter for this file? Comma. Okay, each column is separated by comma. You need to tell it explicitly. And then next one is df.shape or type of df. First of all, we need to check whether it is a data frame or not. Simply, I read a file and I tell the pandas, hey, this is a comma separated value file, and then store this data file value into a variable called df. That variable df is going to be my data frame. So it will store all these file data into a memory called df. This df is data frame. Okay, there is something called codec and something. You don't have to worry about this. Simply, you just encoding. Here's something called, I don't remember this one. I think this is the one. Okay, it is working fine. You don't have to worry about it. There is a UTF-8 format or encoding. So whenever you read a CSV file or something, right, you need to specify the encoding something like this. And now the question is, how do I have to remember this one? How do I remember this? You don't have to memorize this. There is some other package that is available to automatically get the encoding value for the type of the value. I don't want to confuse you with the other packages now. We will start with the simple one. At this moment, you just simply remember there is an option called encoding, parameter encoding. We need to specify this, and only then the data gets loaded here. So now I want to check the df.shape. So it gives me rows and columns. 25,000 rows and 25,004 rows are there, and 26 columns are there. And if I want to view the top 5 records, so we have 25,000 records are there, right? I want to view the top 5 records, df.head file. So using which we can view the top 5 records. Fine. So here we have 26 columns are there. Display all the 26 columns, but display only the 26 columns for the 5 rows, first 5 rows, top 5 rows. Here the row ID also, like arrays and list, the index values starts from 0. Even in the case of data frame, the row ID's index value the rows index value starts from 0. So for this row, the index value is 0. Second row, the index value is 1. Similarly, even for the columns, the index values are there behind the scene. So for this column, the index value is 0. For this column, the index value is 1. You need to remember this is very important. The interview, they'll ask you about this one also. Okay, so now we are able to view the top 5 records. Is it possible to okay, let me do one thing here. We are able to view the top 5 records, and we have something called sizes and shapes. Everything is available, using which we can find out the number of values in a column. Okay, for example, if you want to view only the columns, df.columns, and if you hit the run, I don't want to see the data. I just want to see only the columns. What is your data frame name? df. Followed by that, you need to put dot. Followed by the dot only, you need to specify columns. So all these data files are available in my GitHub. Okay, make sure that you download all the files in my GitHub. I will just show you one more time. So this is my Python scripts. You will find everything here. So you will find a few of them here. And if you go to Power BI, you will Power-BI, you will find all the data files. These are the script file, the Python script file, and these are my data file here. You will find, for example, sales, and this is what I'm talking, right? sales underscore W04. Look here. So if you search it, you will get it. Okay. So you can download this file. Simply, I would suggest go to this URL and then go to code and download zip. It will get downloaded as a zip file. The rest is simple. You know how to unzip a file. Okay, so the data files are available and you need to read this file and then make sure that you are putting this file in this folder. Okay, or you are specifying the proper folder name. Just because I mentioned that one, that doesn't mean it will simply work. If you put this data file in your laptop in C drive, you need to say C colon sales w04.csv. The shape gives me rows and columns, and head of 5 gives me the number of top 5 records. Okay, the next one is dot column. This command gives me the only the columns. Okay, and next one is how do I see the so for example, if you want to see the data types, columns alone, if I view it, it is not much helpful. Is there any way? Can I see the D types? D types, P, I forgot to specify the P here, D types. Along with the column name, can I see the data types? Yes. Each and every column, you can find the data type alongside of it. So D types. And then next one is what other commands I can use it here. For example, here in this case, row ID, order ID, all the columns are there, shipping cost, everything. And then I have something called return, and I have something called categories here, right? So I want to see in each category, I want to see how many number of categories are there, and each category, how many number of records are in this data set. DF. DF is my data frame name. In this data frame, which column I'm interested in category column. So if you wanted to access the values of a column, you need to specify, you need to prefix the column name by your data frame name and then dot. Okay. So here, what is my data frame? This is the data frame holding all the columns, all the records. But I want to view only the category columns data, df dot category figure. So here it shows, but still it shows dot dot dot, which means right, zero, starting from 0th index to 25,003, right? It shows everything. The dot data you ignore. There is some format command you can use, using which we can display. For example, if you use print command, I think with print command, the print command also it shows dot, and we have something called format command using which we can display all the values in a single line. That we will see it later. Now, I just want to see in category how many unique values are there. I guess unique. Unique function. Okay. So column data frame name dot column name category. So df dot category dot unique. How many unique values are there in this column? So in this category, we have only 3 columns are there. Though we have 25,000 records and dot, how many number of unique categories are there? So in which categories are we selling the products? So with this, under these 3 categories only, this customer is selling all his products. Okay, and now I want to go one step further. Okay, technology, furniture, office supplies, only these 3 categories. This customer is selling all his products, and each category, how many number of transactions happen? Okay, df dot category dot, here I'm going to say value counts. In office supplies, 9,800. If you add all these 3 things, right, you will get 25,000 and odd records, which means in office supplies, we have received 9,888 orders. In technology, 7,949 orders we received. So now you understood, using value counts function, we can find out the number of records in each category. Got it? Okay, with this, I'm going to wrap up because I have another important concept called how to use LOC and dot LOC and dot ILOC function, okay, using which how we can slice the data in Pandas, because it requires more time. If I start the basics and if I continue the advanced part tomorrow, you will get confused. So with this, I'm going to wrap up today's session. And tomorrow we are going to continue with this one. The meanwhile, what I will do is the up-to-date, these two scripts will share it to you. You can start practice it sometime tomorrow morning or later tonight. Okay, start practice. And if possible, you do Googling about pandas, a lot of materials are available. Start, you have the data set and start play on it. Start, do the analytics on your own. Okay. And also, if possible, tomorrow itself, I will start the data visualization or the visuals, like how to use bar chart, column chart. That also will take a look at it. The whole idea is tomorrow we are going to end the Python part. Okay. And next week onwards, we will continue with the statistics part. So we'll take a look at inferential statistics. Okay. And then once the inference, probably next weekend, followed by the next weekend, we'll complete the inferential statistics and then we will jump into machine learning. Tomorrow, same time. Yes, Gilbert. Yeah. Tomorrow, same time. Good that you asked. Tomorrow, same time, 4 to 6 p.m. We'll continue the Python part. We'll try to complete Python tomorrow itself so that we will jump into inferential statistics. It will go for 2 weekends and then we'll jump into machine learning. All right. Any questions so far? Okay, since you don't have any questions, I'm going to wrap up. You just start practice it. Meanwhile, I will upload the video and I will share the link to you all. The link, same thing. You can use the same playlist, okay, which I shared it with you. And these two files, I will share it to you all, IPy and B, okay, IPython notebook, start practice, all right? Okay.